Hi all. Today we have with us Mr. Sanjay Banerji, the author of the book Justice on the Hills. Let's get to know about him first. Sanjay Banerji is an ultra marathoner, scuba diver, certified mountaineer, and author of four books: Crossing the Finish Line about running, The Mountaineering Handbook about mountaineering, Nobody Dies Tonight about fitness in the COVID-19 pandemic, a novel Justice on the Hills, which is based on a fictional account of Gorkha land, and a short story, Guardians of Nathula, published in an anthology of short stories by different authors. Sanjay Banerjee has a BSc in zoology and an MBA in production and is a gold medalist in journalism with 36 years of experience in the steel, paper, and cement sectors. He recently, on 7th March 2024, became the first Indian with four medical conditions to summit the highest point of the African continent at Mount Kilimanjaro, Uhuru Peak, 19,341 feet. Hi, Mr. Banji, we welcome you to our author's interview today. Can you tell us a little bit about your book, Justice on the Hills?
Yes, Justice on the Hills is a gripping tale of political intrigue, exploration of human bonds, personal and governance struggles, and the relentless pursuit of justice. It is a fictional narrative of Gurkhaland, which, according to the book, takes place at a futuristic date of 30th December 2024. Tensions, loyalties, and emotions run high as three classmates from a public school in Dehradun get together with their partners on their quest for Gurkhaland. From the heartland of Madhya Pradesh, Satna and Bhopal, to the rugged terrains of Ladakh and an avalanche in Nathula in Sikkim, to the bustling streets of Mumbai and Kolkata, to the serene hill stations of Darjeeling and Kalimpong, and many obstacles are faced like the COVID-19 pandemic, death of an eminent actor, and from a thrilling police chase at night with Alsatian dogs along the banks of the Tiesta River, accumulating in harsh global conflicts. This is in a nutshell what my novel is about.
Okay, so how did you come up with the title of this book?
Since this book is about the hill people in the regions of Darjeeling, Kalimpong, Jalpaiguri, Siliguri, so it's only apt that this title should be there, Justice on the Hills. It's basically about the people living in the hills, the proud Gurkhas.
Okay. So, what was your writing process like?
This book has been written describing a period of 30 years from 1995 to 2024. If you take the uprising incident at school in 1986, the period stretches up to 38 years. The book delves into some of the most exciting and tumultuous moments of Gurkha history. Of the Kalimpong massacre, which actually happened on 27 July in 1986, Havildar Lichman Durham's bravery, for which he was awarded the Victoria Cross from the Viceroy Lord Wavell at the Red Fort in Delhi on 19 December 1945. The book also covers the boundless violence which lasted 104 days at Darjeeling from 15 June 2017. The book also covers the national lockdown, which started at 24th March 2020, and problems faced by the common man. The death of a celebrity actor is also shown in the book. Then the Russian recruitment of Gurkhas in its army and the recent Israel-Hamas conflict is also depicted in the book. So much of the turbulent moments, all captured in less than 200 pages, took a lot of meticulous planning and studying Gurkha history as well as going through newspaper reports. The book is a well researched document and depicted in an exciting manner to cater to the taste of all age groups and contain aspects of a thriller, political intrigue, espionage, romance, passion, and a touch of humor. In fact, humor comes in quite a number of pages. It is very poignant and melodramatic moments are there. When the emotions packed passage hit the reader straight in the heart, the novel can be considered very contemporary in spite of its historical significance.
Okay, so did you face any challenges while writing this book?
Yeah, basically, I met two challenges.
Okay.
The first challenge, not to disturb, undermine, or hurt the sentiments of the Gurkha people all around the world. That was the first challenge. And since this book is a blend of fiction with actual events interspersed with the history of the Gurkhas, I had to be very careful with the narration of events. That is number one. The second challenge was to make this novel acceptable to a wide genre of age groups and different, readers have different tastes. Like we like thrillers, political history, romance, humorous books, melodramatic books. So my characters are all very vibrant, strong, and colorful. And I'm sure that any reader who reads this book, Justice on the Hills, can actually identify with one of my characters. So this was my second challenge.
So, speaking about characters, how well do you think you have done justice to all the places or the characters you have, all the places your characters have journeyed through?
Uh, I'm not boasting. I want to be very modest, but wherever these characters have been portrayed in different places like Kolkata and Nathula Pass, Ladakh, I have been there. In
Okay.
fact, some of the most exciting moments of this book, I actually participated in those events, like the
Right.
Khadlunga Challenge. There is a chapter called the Khadlunga Challenge where the protagonist, along with Manisha, that is the protagonist is Mobius Mukherjee and Mandira and Manisha, they run a 72-kilometer race. I actually ran the race, 72 kilometers. The second point was there is a very famous passage here, chapter on the Nathula Pass, avalanche at Nathula Pass. I actually experienced that avalanche. I was going there in a group. There were 10 jeeps and about 40 people, and I was going with my wife. So that avalanche took place. So basically, it was a very death-defying moment, and I was very lucky. I mean, nothing happened to anybody. We survived. So that episode has come. So my novel Justice on the Hills is basically encapsulating a lot of real life events which have actually taken place, and even other numerous other things like the 25-kilometer race in Kolkata and the episode where a group of us entered the police state, that head office there in Kolkata. It actually we have done all those things. So we have actually experienced it. I've experienced it. My is based on characters who have experienced it, and also another interesting point in this book. There is a passage where everybody we were trying to avoid that avalanche. There's a pass back on when he was a student and he was running a cross country race with his friend Milen. So he runs and he comes first, and that record is there set for posterity for 30 years. That record was not broken for 30 years. Now, this incident is actually me. I ran that race, and my record in the Doon School at Dehradun stood for 30 years. So, if you see, so many exciting moments in the novel actually based on some of the events which I have myself experienced, my friends have experienced, my colleagues have experienced. So, it's very well interpersonal fiction, and it could be termed as a non-fiction book also.
Okay, so based on the fact that you have already journeyed through the places that your characters have journeyed through, so my next question was, is there any real life character that inspired you to write this book? Are you going to say that you are the character that inspired you to write this book? I mean, you can say that.
I want to be very frank with you. You talk about real life characters.
Mhm.
90% of the characters in this book are based on real life characters.
Yes.
90%. of the main characters. Now I tell you specifically, Mobius Mukherjee, Sumitra his wife, Milind Dandekar, Mandira Bhatia, Chandrika, Junali, and a few corporate characters. They're all actually based on real life. Now, the question what you have put forward to me is that for obvious reasons, I can't disclose their names because I want to protect their names and sort of protect the identity actually. Though I have told a few of them that look, I put you on the book and all that. So most of them, I think, yeah, all of them nearly, they were very pleased and all that. Because what happens is when you write about characters in a novel and all, you have to remember, especially on real life characters. Now, the characters in my book, they are the most of the people, most of them are married men and women. They got grown up children.
Yeah.
So now to go and tell people, look, my book, one character based on this character. So I obviously want to protect the identity. But yes, they or nearly all my characters are based on real life now. But as I said, I've interposed fiction with non-fiction. So it's all fictional. I say this book is a fictional book.
Okay, okay. And how well do you think you have conveyed your emotions on paper?
Uh, could you please
How
repeat that
well,
question?
yeah, how well do you think you have done, how well do you think you have portrayed or conveyed your emotions on the paper?
Yeah. See, it's this. You're talking about the emotional aspects.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Justice of the Hills is a very emotional novel. It touches the chord with the readers on practically every page, you know. And there are so many emotional moments between, for example, Mobius and his wife Sumitra, Mobius with his women colleagues, Mandira and Jonali, and with one of the main characters, Manisha, and also the close bond with the protagonist Mobius Mukherjee shares with his daughter, popularly known in the novel as the Pahadi Princess. So it's a very emotional packed book, and I could feel the emotions while writing the book. While writing, actually, I felt them. I felt the pain, I felt the humor, I felt the happiness, I felt the melodrama. I felt it. I felt emotional while writing this book.
So, what kind of responses have you received so far?
I've received very good responses because the first thing which I did is I asked my very close friends to read this book line by line very carefully. I said, as my friend, if the least you can do is read the full book and then let me know how you feel. So they all liked the book very much because what they told me that it doesn't seem it's fiction. We are actually watching a movie, and they likened my book with a Netflix film, and each chapter was like an episode. In a Netflix film, you have an episode. So they kept telling me that the moment we finished one chapter, we are eagerly waiting for the next chapter. So there was one person who said, "No, I sat all night and I read it in 2 hours. I didn't keep it. Like I'll read it again." So they said it was a very exciting book. All of them have said that.
Okay, that's great. So, the next question's answer I already know, but for the audience, are you working on anything else at the moment?
It's supposed to be a secret, but since you asked that question, I'm going to tell you.
Well, we
It's
can
one of
filter
the,
it.
yeah. No, I'll tell you. Uh, it's one of the most exciting books which will be, what do I say, has been created in publishing history. Though again, I don't want to boast. I'm humble when I say this. It's uh, it's a very challenging project because it's based on mythological characters and human beings.
Okay.
I've already thought of the title of the book. Now, the title, unless I change it, it's Parvati's fifth child. Now, Durga's fifth child, as we all know, there are four children of Durga: Lakshmi, Saraswati, Kartik, and Ganesh. Now the book is titled Parvati's Fifth Child. In this book, the gist, Parvati takes permission from her husband Shiva and says that I want to spend some time with a human being on earth.
Okay.
So Parvati comes and lives like a human being on earth, but with her godly powers.
Mhm.
So that's the magic. What happens? Imagine Goddess Durga comes down to earth and starts living like a human being. You know, so that is it's a very exciting moment. I'm very excited. I think the project will take me almost a year because I'm doing a lot of research because it could be conflicting, it could be controversial.
Right,
So
right.
to avoid that, I'm gonna write the novel and get it, show it to a lot of historians and academicians. So I don't want any controversy about this book. So, but
Right.
I'm very excited and I'm almost certain that this book will become a bestseller. I'm almost certain.
Great. So, what advice do you have for other writers?
See, the most important thing for any writer is to, in crafting a novel, especially a piece of fiction, is that you got to do meticulous planning. There is no short-term success for writing a novel. You got to plan. If you, I, I'm telling you about the planning which I did for Justice on the Hills. It was very meticulously planned. It took me quite a few years, in fact. In fact, while writing this novel, a few other books of mine came out also. So the first thing is you got to plan, you got to have a proper synopsis, break down the novel into different chapters. You have to prepare your characters well, and each character should have something different. It should not be that a whole lot of people having the same, like football players in a football field. You need to have different characters. Like if you have seen the novel Justice on the Hills, the character of Sumitra is very much different from Mandira. The character of Mandira is very much different from Junali. So, Sumitra, Mandira, Junali are totally three different characters. Similarly, Shiv, Mobius, and Villain are totally three different characters. So, that's what I say. You have to plan meticulously, uh, paint a nice sort of painting on the canvas, prepare your characters well, and decide beforehand how long should it be, what should be the theme, how should it end. And always, what I tell writers is that have a very exciting beginning. The beginning of any novel should immediately catch the reader's attention. It should be very exciting, and then the flow of the narration goes. There should never be a dull moment. Like narration should not be straight line. Narration ups and downs, ups and downs. Make it exciting, and gradually, it should not be abrupt. It should not be an abrupt ending. It should come to its natural course, conclude seamlessly to a slow and pragmatic point. That's the suggestion I give.
Okay. So, can you read a few of your favorite lines from the book?
There are so many of them, so you'll have to tell me where to stop, and I'll start with some of them. Yeah,
I think just two, three favorite lines from
yeah.
your
I'll
book
give you.
will suffice. Yeah.
See, as I said earlier, that the beginning should be very riveting. So I just start the first few lines. Mobius instinctively knew something was horribly wrong. Why did Ayushi buy a surgical knife from the chemist next to their housing colony half an hour ago? Mobius started running towards their duplex home inside the colony. The two security men at the gate watched puzzled. What I'm doing is I'm reading in between. I'm not reading the full passage.
Okay.
Pahadi, you inside, yelled Mobius. There was a eerie silence behind the door. Meanwhile, Sumitra had scrambled up and stood behind Mobius. Can you please tell me what is going on? You will find out soon enough. Pahadi, one last time. Are you opening the door? Not waiting for a reply, Mobius slammed the empty yet heavy cylinder with all his might at the weak plywood door, shattering it into two pieces. The sight before him froze Mobius's blood instantly, and the hair on his arms and behind his neck bristled in trepidation. This is the beginning. Now there are a lot of humorous moments. So I'll give you one. I think we have some time. I'll give one humorous passage,
Sure, sure.
or maybe two humorous passages, because it's the book is also funny. It's makes you cry also, but makes you laugh also. And there are some passages which are interspersed in Hindi. So what I've done is I've written it in Hindi and put this one. Her Bapi smiled at the sub inspector and she smiled back, displaying an even set of pearly teeth with her dark hair neatly tied into a bun. Her uniform was tight fitting, revealing perky boobs and a well rounded bottom set in perfect harmony. She took a notebook and looked at Ayushi. What happened? I slit my wrist accidentally while sharpening my pencil. Your pencil must have held by your fingers. How did your wrist come in the way? The father intruded. The still smiling sub inspector replied to Bapi in Hindi, क्या मैं आपको फुद्दू लगता हूँ? Do I appear like a fool to you? कभी नहीं सोचा आपके चेहरे में एक झलक है बहुत खुशमंगल व्यक्ति लगते हो never thought about it there's a unique glow on your face an enlightened look then some passage and then something more. Papi pulled out a 500 rupee note and slid it into a front pocket without offending her bosom. As Ayushi observed the comical theatrics unfolding before her, a profound revelation dawned upon her. She discerned the hidden key to Bapi's remarkable success. Unlike her ma, who had a knack for being straightforward and calling a spade, Bapi possessed the extraordinary ability to mend and improve situations. It became evident that this contrast was what made them an unbeatable duo. Their weaknesses complemented each other perfectly, forming the foundation of the strength. Bapi's impulsive yet resilient nature harmonized flawlessly with Ma's intellect and high standards, creating an unmatched synergy. Okay. Is it okay or some
Yeah,
more
it's great.
particular?
No, it is great. So thank you so much for your time, and most
Thank you.
importantly, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. And we
Okay.
had a great time chatting with you.
Yeah.
So Sanjay Banerjee's new book, Justice on the Hills, is available on our website. The link you may find down in the caption below. And thank you so much for all your time once again. And
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Banerjee. We are now signing off. So, bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.